Hello there, Adam Bazalgette here, founder of Scratch Golf Academy. Today, understanding your golf swing plane, downswing specifically. This is part 2. The previous video was part 1, backswing plane. Giving you simple ways to understand it so you can get on plane every time. I'll show you some different drills, some different keys, simple mental pictures, and the biggest pitfall and how to avoid it. So what is the main object of the downswing plane? And we are assuming maybe you watch part 1 of this series and you have a sense of where you should be at the top for the backswing plane. And that is, the hands have gone up to some degree. You need to get down to where that original plane was before approaching the ball. Let's have a look at a pro versus an amateur and see how this fleshes out. So everyday golfer on the left, Adam Scott, swing supreme. There on the right, let's have a look. Goes a little bit inside there, not ideal, but not too bad. And certainly a great takeaway there. But let's take them to the top. So in the backswing, as we described in the previous video of this series, the hands are certainly going to rise somewhat, and actually that position on the left is not too bad. Now here's the thing you'll notice. Let me draw a line to the top of the glove. If you like this video, I hope you'll subscribe to the YouTube channel here for Scratch Golf Academy. ScratchGolfAcademy.com is our home website. Lots of video courses there. Let's have a look. So Adam, as he comes down, is not going to make a beeline for the ball, that above line. He's going to swing down until he gets nearer the original shaft plane, and it's from there that he delivers it. You can see his hands are pretty close to him there. The club's at the side of the body. Let me get rid of those lines for a second. And his body takes it through. Now, if we look at the gentleman on the right, instead of coming down to the plane, he does what is most common, goes directly at the golf ball, even above that a little bit, goes right down at the ball there. That is not quite what we're looking for there. So what's the main way these arms get down onto the plane? Well, let's look at it this way. The torso, the upper trunk, primarily will bring the arms out towards the ball as it unwinds. The swinging of the arms tends to be the downward agent, this trail arm in particular, because that's the one that's folded the most. So that has to begin to straighten to allow the arms to work down. Now, before you say that sounds all wrong, let's go through this a little bit. We'll start from there, and I think you'll see how this makes sense if you do it properly. Okay, when people hear this sort of information, these arms have to get down. First question you usually get, and it's a reasonable one, I thought the hips and the body were supposed to lead. They are supposed to lead. But here's the problem. They're supposed to lead, certainly with a nice flash of movement, but energy has to go up the chain. Picture throwing a ball. If I'm throwing a ball, it's hips first, then a little bit of body, but it's got to get out to the ball there. And what happens with most people that get steep, which is most people that play golf, segment 2 especially, where the arms are attached, this upper body segment pulls too hard and pulls for too long. Energy doesn't get out to the arms. They don't get an opportunity to come down. So in a correct scenario, there is certainly a bump of weight with a little bit of turn. Depends how flexible you are. Certainly a little shiver of the body, but that energy has to pop down, get those hands working down a little bit. Certainly, one final comment here before we look at a pro. In that initial move, the trail arm will narrow, the swing radius will get narrower, but it very quickly is getting down this way. Quick look at a pro versus an amateur from this angle, then we'll continue to flesh it out. To the incomparable Fred Couples there on the right, amateur golfer here on the left. Got a really nice drill for you coming up. You can do it home or out on the range. I think you'll enjoy it. Let's watch the start down here. Lots of pull with the upper body. Fred certainly gets, if you look at that, probably a rain shed by his left hip, certainly gets a sharp bump forward there. You don't see a dramatic unwinding of the torso. Arms are loaded. Now the arms start to really get down. Now let's look through impact. Look at the torso rotation of this fellow. His hands are maybe just tummy high there. Let's get Freddie to that point. Maybe there. Look how much more you see of Fred's chest versus this look here. He's been able to decelerate the body and crack the whip. So a great way to work on this, maybe at home, is with your golf bag. If it's a normal stick bag, it hangs at about the angle of a 6-iron. This is a 6-iron here, but you can check that with your clubs. Maybe the legs on your bag's a bit different, but pick a club. Don't need to be too anal. It's roughly parallel too. So I'm going to go outside that a bit so there's some room. There's my backswing, and again, generally speaking, I'm trying to get nearer this bag before I really start the journey forward there. I think this is a great drill. If you had a great mental picture, if you had a paintbrush and if it was dipped in water or paint, you want to feel something that would splash drips of paint or water all the way up that bag. In other words, very dynamic, leading from here, but down. We're not trying to carry this out and throw that out there. You'll get a great feeling for a dynamic way to get those arms and wrists down when you do that. And if you can get this swing plane, if you can get this start of the downswing right, you're going to play some good golf. In the much less likely scenario, and that is to say much fewer people do it, the club gets too far under the plane, hey, then you need a little bit more body and you need to guard against getting the arms down there. You could be early extending a little bit as well. So think of it this way in the broadest of terms. At the top of the backswing, it's the job of the arms to get the club down. It's the job of the body to bring the club forward, get the weight to the left, and move the bottom out position past the golf ball. Sure, it should be dynamic, but you have to find a way to get that to work a bit. Let's give you a few short breakdowns on signs to look for that you're too steep or too flat. Okay, telltale signs that you're too steep. Number one, you tend to take deep divots, probably for the right-hand golfer pointed to the left, but you'd have equally a tendency, because of the natural inclinations to try to hit a good shot, to straighten up, to bail out and top some balls. So if it's deep divots, top balls, you're probably too steep. You'd also have the tendency, of course, to start the ball for a pull with the option to slice or fade it back. Now, just the opposite, if you're too far from the inside, you'll almost always have a tendency to bottom out early, so you could drop kick some shots, not deep divots, but drop kick and easily rise and catch some clean or thin ones. If you do hit it solidly, you're probably going to have an excessively high trajectory. And opposite of the steep person, you're going to tend to push the ball, start it to the right with option to curve it back and hook it to the left. Think these things through. Do that drill with a golf bag, process it, maybe film your own swing, see what your motion looks like to you in light of the things we talked about. I hope it helps you.